You did not sign up to function as everyone's mother. And yet somehow you are the person people call when things fall apart at work, at church, in your family, in your neighborhood. You are the one who notices, the one who shows up, and the one who cannot seem to stop. And here's what's fascinating. Research shows that when caregiving shifts from something you choose to something you feel obligated to do, your brain processes it completely differently. Same behavior, different neurological experience. I'm Coach Janet J. And today on Your Next Best Step, we are exploring why the mothering instinct becomes an identity trap and what one question can shift everything. There's a particular kind of woman. And if you are listening to this podcast, there's a good chance you are one who has fallen into mothering the world. And I do not just mean your own children if you have them. I mean everyone. You are the coworker who remembers somebody's parent is having surgery and checks in the next day. You're the one at church who notices when a face is missing from the pew and sends a text before anyone else thinks to do it. You are the neighbor who drops off soup, the friend who listens for an hour even when you only had 10 minutes, the daughter who coordinates every medical appointment. And here's the thing. Most of the time, nobody asked you to do all of it. You just saw the need and you responded because that is who you are. That instinct is beautiful. I want to name that right now. The world is better because women like you exist in it. And it's also costing you something. I want to sit with a verse that might reframe something for you. Isaiah 66:13 says, "As a mother comforts her child, so I will comfort you." That's the NIV translation. Now, listen again. God is not just saying, go comfort everyone. God is describing the quality of his own comfort: tender, fierce, close. The kind of comfort that says, I see you and I'm not going anywhere. That is God telling you he is your source. He is the one who holds, who soothes, who stays. Which means, and I want you to hear this, you were never meant to be everyone's source of comfort. That was never your assignment. God did not design you to be the emotional infrastructure for every person in your life. He designed you to be held by him so that when you do care for others, it flows from fullness rather than from fumes. The nurturing you offer matters. It is a reflection of God's own character, and it was never supposed to replace his role in other people's lives. Science backs this up in a way I think you will find both validating and clarifying. Self-determination theory, developed by psychologist Edward Deci and Richard Ryan over 4 decades of research, identifies autonomy as one of 3 core psychological needs. In the context of caregiving, a 2021 study by Barry Longstreth and colleagues tested this directly with 158 caregivers. They found that caregivers who felt autonomous in their decision to provide care, who felt they were choosing it, experienced significantly less burden and fewer depressive symptoms. The more caregiving felt like a choice rather than an obligation, the better the caregiver's mental health. So the same act, bringing a meal, sitting with someone, managing a parent's medication schedule, lands differently in your body and brain, depending on whether you feel like you chose it or whether you feel trapped by it. A 2021 systematic review in BMC Health Services research confirmed that women who absorbed caregiving as a core identity rather than a chosen role, experienced more emotional exhaustion and greater identity disruption. The deeper the caregiving was fused with who they believed they were, the harder it became to step back without feeling like they were losing themselves. This is not about whether you care too much. It is about whether the caring has become compulsive. When nurturing becomes automatic rather than chosen, it stops being a gift and starts being a dream. I do want to pause here because I think some of you just recognized yourselves. If you are the woman who cannot walk into a room without scanning for who needs something, if you feel a pang of guilt when you sit down and rest while somebody nearby seems to be struggling, if the idea of letting someone else handle it makes you more anxious than just doing it yourself, that is not compassion running on full. That is a pattern. And underneath that pattern, there is usually an identity belief that sounds something like, if I'm not taking care of someone, I do not know who I am. That belief did not come from scripture. It came from years of being the one who showed up, being praised for it, being needed for it, and slowly letting it become the foundation of your sense of self. Emotionally, compulsive nurturing creates a slow leak. You pour out empathy, patience, and energy all day, and there is no mechanism for refilling because you have convinced yourself that needing care is someone else's job. Mentally, when your identity is fused with caregiving, every situation becomes a problem to solve. Your brain never gets to stop scanning. That is cognitive load that never clocks out. Physically, sustained obligation-based caregiving is linked to elevated cortisol, disrupted sleep, and chronic fatigue. Your body knows the difference between chosen and compulsive, even when your mind does not. Spiritually, this one's subtle. When you become everyone's source of comfort, you quietly step into a role that belongs to God. And you end up too depleted to receive the very comfort He is offering you in Isaiah 66:13. So here is your next best step. This week, before you say yes to caring for someone, pause. Ask yourself one question. Am I choosing this, or am I just the one who always does this? That is it. You do not have to change your answer. You do not have to say no. You just have to notice, because awareness is the doorway. Once you start recognizing the difference between chosen care and compulsive care, you will feel it in your body. You will feel the difference between I want to help and I guess this is on me again. And when the answer is obligation, when you realize you are stepping in because no one else will, and you have decided that this is your permanent role, you really are allowed to let someone else step in. You are allowed to let God be God in that person's life. You are allowed to sit down. Your nurturing instinct is a reflection of God's own character. The research is clear that chosen care protects your well-being while obligated care erodes it. Isaiah 66:13 reminds us that God is the ultimate source of comfort. That role was never yours to carry alone. And the question, am I choosing this or am I just the one who always does this, is the beginning of getting your identity back. On Wednesday, we are going somewhere important. What nobody tells you about Mother's Day when it hurts is for every woman who dreads the second Sunday in May. Whether you have lost your mother, never had children, have a complicated relationship, or simply grieving what the day represents, that one is going to matter. I hope you will be here for it. Follow or subscribe wherever you are listening or watching so you don't miss an episode. And if you have a moment, a rating or review really does make a huge difference. It helps other women find this show, and I'm so grateful for you. If you haven't picked up your free 5-minute daily reset yet, head over to yournextbeststep.com. It is a simple practice that helps you pause, breathe, and reconnect, even on your most chaotic days. I will see you Wednesday. Take your next best